Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phandalin by Night. Thank you for joining us again this week as our heroes have newly leveled up and are level 3 now, which we're super excited about. All kinds of new features you got to see kind of at the end of last episode if you were with us. Thank you for joining us tonight. I see the chat is like already streaming and I'm loving it. Let me introduce my amazing players and we'll go ahead and get started because tonight may be awesome or maybe a shopping episode. So we'll just keep going. Let's start. Just above me is Nikki.
Hi, everybody. Nikki here. I'll be playing Denny, the Tiefling Bard. Sorry I'm not dressed up like some of our other fantastic players today, but I was at yet another wedding this weekend and did not have the time to come home and quickly paint myself completely purple. Which is a little known fact about me. I actually paint my entire self purple, even though you only see my hands and face. But I'm excited to get going and see what shenanigans I get up to this weekend.
Just because you've shared with us a little bit of the behind the scenes process, I'm going to start you off with inspiration tonight. And so you can take that inspiration. Above Nikki is Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'll be playing Sangane Thundersoul. I'm firmly convinced that Nikki is actually purple and she just puts on the regular makeup. So just to fool us, because we've seen her more as purple than we have in any other color. I'm just saying.
True.
I mean, you have.
Sure. We're not going to dig too deep into that. And we're just going to keep on moving. So across from Mike, that is Sarah Prime.
Hey, my name is Sarah. I play Graja Rage Rock, the half-orc barbarian. She, her for both of us. I got Frenzy. I'm ready to Frenzy. I'm ready to buy some stuff. Whatever comes, I'm ready. I'm green. I'm ready.
I am digging it. And I had Amanda and Nikki mixed up on my Zoom screen, which is why I was so confused. But beneath Sarah is Amanda.
Amanda, I play Whimsy, the Tiefling Warlock. He, him, or he, they for Whimsy. She, her for me. And I am actually orange. Fun fact.
It's true.
And naturally just all pupil.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
I am wearing contacts, but they're actually just prescription contacts. My whole eye is actually
They're
black.
just like...
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with it. I'm loving it. And beneath Amanda is Najra, as always.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here. I'm Najra. I play Jart, she, they for both of us. And also life hit me and couldn't do my makeup, but we're ready to kick some ass or try to buy stuff, which I'm not sure how good Jart's gonna be.
I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do both. I'm just, putting that out there. I'll start the episode with that. So when we last met our heroes, friends, you had cleaned up the Goblin Cave, checking crates and boxes at the end. Stuff was found from Phandalin, Neverwinter, and a box of quality stuff was addressed to Lord Castellanter in Waterdeep, who Mike for sure did not Google and spook himself out about earlier this week.
Nope.
Whimsy helped the wolves to find a tentative truce with each other. And Denny found a few special treasures, including a mysterious aqua blue file potion. Jart helped investigate and also helped to keep the group on the go, very much like the walk and talk. Sangane saved Sildar, stabilizing him, and Graja helped heal him up a bit more. Graja, untrusting of Viesa, nonetheless went with the group back to her home where the group could get a long rest. Viesa fed everyone a wonderful meal and shared a map of the area with Jart and the group, but not with sleeping Denny, because Denny was sleeping. Denny passed right out. And yes, absolutely. The group decided to go to Phandalin, dropping off the packages, and then head to the Cragmaw Castle ruins to try and find Gundren. So where we find ourselves is at night, just before everybody goes down for their long rest, is there anything you'd like to do? What's going on? What's your thoughts here?
So is it morning right now? Like we're
Nighttime.
freshly- oh, nighttime.
Hasn't started night yet. I just wanted to see if there was anything that anybody needed to do.
Denny's asleep, so I'll
Okay.
leave this to you guys.
Anybody else?
He sits bolt right up in bed, yells something about the satin blend, and goes back.
These aren't Egyptian cotton
Absolutely.
sheets.
I'm good, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking for my inventory. Did we get any gold from all of that?
Just
There
silver
wasn't-
and copper,
Yeah, there was silver and copper.
Okay.
which is
Um,
different than white gold.
I have somewhere. If you don't remember, I don't either, but I have it written down somewhere if you need me to
I
get
have it on my sheet, actually. I added it into my D&D Beyond. So we got 22 silver and 100 copper.
Yes.
I got that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna wander in the evening, sort of thing, just to do a quick little round check on the vegetables.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
such,
you-
like, finish up the digging that I'd finished, sort of thing, and surreptitiously tuck like 5 silver into the ground.
Okay.
So I guess this is a thing. And
So
I'll just pat it down.
as you go to tuck that 5 silver and make a religion check for me,
Ooh.
which you do with hidden proficiency, thanks to our custom homebrewed feat.
Ooh. Go me. So with proficiency, okay.
It should show proficiency on your thing, right?
I think yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it
It's
does. Okay.
the dots there.
Ooh, it's a hidden. Look at that. It's a different color. Wow. 12.
12. As you're tucking that 5 silver, you start to like try and figure out, is there something you're supposed to do? Like, is it just tuck and go? Like, what's the situation? You remember from your vision or whatever it was that you experienced, that the people who you saw, the clerics who you saw, as they were providing their offering, they were also asking for favor of some kind from the deity. That unlike, not necessarily that you would know the habits of other clerics, but clerics of pretty much every other deity wake up in the morning, thank their deity, have that communal time in the morning, pick their spell slots, whatever. Clerics of Tiamat, though, ask for the blessing for the following day, that Tiamat would even be so good as to raise the sun the following morning, because she is terrifying and may choose to just kill everybody at nighttime. So
good.
you pray for your spell slots in the evening, and
night
then
before,
if you
the day after.
survive the night, you get them in the morning.
Well, that's fun.
All glory be to Tiamat.
Huh. So, I still don't know you, but somehow we are linked. So, if what I've seen is true, and what I've seen is the level of your power and magnificent anger, if you could see fit to let me live the night, we'll do this again tomorrow, I guess. Completely not knowing, winging everything by, do I use a silver spade? Do I dig with with the coin? Whatever. I just sort of like scoop dirt out from that hole that I found before.
Absolutely.
Tuck a couple of coins into it.
So you're putting in the same spot that you had put before?
Nope. The spot I put before was in the cave.
Oh, yes. Okay, you're right.
But
Okay.
this is the one that
Yeah.
you described like last time, was like, hey, there's this hole there and it's deep
Right.
enough you could probably stick something in it.
Right. Okay.
I
Yes.
can't find that one.
And you do. You put your silver in there. You can go ahead and remove that from your inventory, and
Yep.
you kind of pat it over, and you feel like you could probably go to bed.
Shrug. Dust my hands off.
Yeah.
Get back in.
Graja, and Jart, bedtime plans.
The map, was it given or was it shown to us? Like, can I take it with me, or?
No, I think Viesa shared. No, I think she'll let you take it. Yeah, she says, bring it back to me at some point in the future. Don't wait too long.
Okay.
Don't die on the way.
Don't die on the way. Yeah, I'm gonna take I'm gonna pack the map very securely in my bag, and that's it.
You remember that you actually have a map case that had been found on the dead horses, so you could tuck it in there if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Graja, you going straight to bed, or?
Yeah, I think she goes straight to bed. She's still, even though she's been a year away from where she grew up and this sort of like religious life that she had led from childhood until she left, she still feels at nighttime this pull almost to still pray or reflect to the orcish god of Groomsh, but she doesn't do that anymore. And so I think she sits a while in kind of this silence and probably doesn't get a super good night of sleep. Probably just still disturbed about everything that has happened. I think sleep is fitful. Not like complete insomnia, but just not a good, maybe a nightmare or two.
Yeah, I mean, as you try to drift off, you do have sort of visions of you feel a little bit of a chill on your body. Not that that's uncomfortable. That's kind of what you're used to. That's home. And you realize that you're kind of standing on a little road that leads up a winding path into what looks like just some rocks that are askew on the side of a mountain. And that path, though, that those rocks are cleverly placed to look random, but also to exactly hide your village. And as you ascend this little path, you see your family, you see the people of your village, you see all of these memories. The smell of home comes back to you. The way that the ice or the snow would fall and like freeze on your eyelashes. You have all these memories, and as you go to take a step through these gigantic carved, they look like walrus tusks, but they are 10 feet tall, coming from some beast, and they are like the entrance into your village. And as you go to step through them, you can't, and you, there's nothing there. You press, and you can't get there. And you see everybody in your village laugh. You see kids laughing and running through the streets, and there is something keeping you separate from them, and you're not sure what that is, but it is a fitful night's sleep for you. And several times you kind of wake up in a sweat, and have to like beat the little bundle of clothes that you use as a pillow to try and get some comfort. And finally, as the morning rolls around, you've been fitful. You've got like imprints of like rocks because you didn't sweep good underneath your bedroll that you threw down. Your neck has a crick. Like you're full on mid-30s body, morning body, right? Like it's not great. And you're feeling it. But yeah, you guys all do wake up, so everybody can take a long rest. You see that at some point in the night, Viesa went and climbed into her bed, but she had probably stayed up and stayed on watch and did whatever, if it's enchantments or something that she does to kind of keep her forested home secluded, whatever it was. And as you wake up, the embers of her fire are just starting to die. But there is stuff, if anybody wanted to make, breakfast, these little plates, they're clearly handmade. And as you look, anybody who looks carefully at them sees little teeny tiny fingerprints, almost like a child-sized hand that had made these plates and bowls and cups, and they're all assorted, and it's not like artisanal, like it's your kindergartner brought this home from art class. Do you know what I'm saying? And the glazing is like sloppy, but clearly she has kept them, and they are much loved. You can see there's one, Dindy, as you go to pick up one of the little, I'm sure what was meant to be a teacup. It has been cracked several times and then like lovingly pitched back together. These have been cared for however old they are. And you guys wake up and you have your lives ahead of you. What are you going to do?
Garaja definitely wants to start making breakfast.
Okay.
For everybody, not just herself.
Sure.
So she'll kind of use whatever's on hand there, probably. I don't exactly know what the food looks like in D&D, so I'm thinking like eggs and bread and maybe cheese if we've got that going on. And just sort of probably make like a large, like protein filled sort of scramble, some vegetables in there, I'm sure, because of the garden, if there's some. So she's just gonna start making like a big old skillet of that stuff.
Doing your best to recapture whatever memory of your home life you can have after that very upsetting dream. You go to like start poking the embers, and you find a little cast iron Dutch oven that has fresh bread that got cooked overnight. And so as you pull the bread out, it's like the perfect place to do your like frittata thing going on there. And you find there's fresh eggs, there's chickens down below, and a vegetable patch, and there is a hunk of like hard cheese that could be melted in, and you do, and the rest of you, Denny in particular, you wake up to this very great smell, which appeals to your luxury tastes. Jart, you in your kind of utilitarian and communal society, you get up and you don't necessarily say very much, but you just kind of see what Graja's doing and jump in and help out where you can, and make sure that nothing burns, and just kind of putter around behind Graja, making sure that everything is, you're an excellent like sous chef. You're second in command there. You're getting it all done. Whimsy, when you wake up in the morning, no, you're eating right now. I'm going to come back to you. Mike, when you wake up in the morning, when Sangani wakes up in the morning, you see Graja and Jart making something that smells amazing. Denny sitting regally at the table across from Viesa, who has rolled out the map and is kind of, pointing out different things to Denny about the Sword Coast. Here was the Sea Hag Coven, and up here was the first of many dragons, dragon. She points out like several places where she claims she has fought and defeated dragons. the sea slugs were here. The lizard men live in the town now. It's not a big deal. And she's kind of telling Denny all of these stories. And Denny, the consummate like performer and storyteller keeper, is sucking it in like a musical theater nerd on a high school trip to London, right? Like just taking all these stories in. Absolutely. So Sangane, that's what you wake up to. What are you doing?
Nice. Ooh, I run out quick, grab some tomatoes off the vine.
Mhm.
Because I remember tending them the other day. Come back in, sort of thing. Find a space, sort of maybe if there's something like in between the table where they're looking at the map and the counter where they're preparing breakfast, sort of things. Just sort of slice up the tomatoes, sort of keeping an ear over, perking up every time they mention something like dragons or some sort of fantastical monsters.
And you do hear a variety of them. I almost died to the wraiths there, almost died to the wraiths there. Wraiths then attacked us there. I dealt with the death cult of Mirkul for years of my life, and I'm glad to never have to deal with them again. And she knocks on the table. And you keep an ear out for these stories.
Keep me careful not to actually slice my thumbs off.
Absolutely. She does mention a green dragon, a white dragon, a brass dragon.
Ooh.
That not that she fought, but that she helped. And a black. Does she mention a black dragon? She. Oh no, I've put myself. You guys are all like hanging on to my every word, thinking I'm about to tell you guys something interesting. But I've just realized some of these are real stories from my Saturday night home game, and they haven't fully encountered some of these things yet. She does mention a black dragons because I've already kind of said that, so they'll have to figure that out when they get there. And Whimsy, that's what you wake up to is Sangane like going, oop, just as he like narrowly misses the point of his finger as she's telling a story about this black dragon called the Ebon Death.
Ooh.
Well, Whimsy fell asleep down with the wolves, cuddled up with his fuzzy buddies.
Okay.
So
Whimsy
he's
now
just
has
like
fleas.
climbing up the ladder to all of this.
Okay, actually, since you fell asleep with the wolves, because I love this,
Oh, no.
let me say that over the course of the night, the one that kind of had been left out, the bully of the group, had snuck its way over. And you, like, the other three were in like a pile and you were there with them. And the other one kind of snuck over and was snuggling next to you. And as you get up, it's still exhausted and it just kind of does like that, like stretch and then rolls over onto the pile with the other ones. And they're all sleeping together. And you're like, I'm just going to take a couple steps back silently and hope that this works out.
Denny just made a family.
Denny.
Whimsy.
Oh, Denny. Whimsy. Oh my God.
I mean,
Denny's
a bard.
Yeah.
Denny very perhaps is also making families that
mean-
nobody knows about. We're not judging.
All I'm saying
Lord.
is that most of my money goes to child support, but
Yeah,
Can't
absolutely.
prove anything.
So Whimsy, that's how you wake up.
Alright. So I guess Whimsy's climbing up the ladder when he hears all the stories being told.
Yes.
Shuffles his way into the kitchen. Big strip. And kind of just looks around. Breakfast is already being made. Maps are being squinted at. He's not really sure what else to do, so he takes a handful of plates and sort of arranges them on the table for everyone. That's all I got.
And you guys sit down to this amazing breakfast. Go ahead.
And Graja, once like the egg scramble has been prepared and it's like I imagine that I take that Dutch oven and I set down like a like a pot holder, like cloth thing to keep the heat from the
Perfect.
table, and I kind of put it down in the middle, and have a spoon, and I start like giving it, doing portions, and I look over at Jart. Thanks for your help making breakfast. I hope you like it.
It smells amazing.
Yeah, I mean, um, I do this pretty much every morning back home. A lot of people to feed, and gotta have energy for the day coming up. And you could tell, like, she seems kind of tired, and she's like trying to, like, in terms of talking about the energy level. And she looks around at her and was like, yeah, I don't really know what you all like to eat, so this is pretty, and I mean, all these vegetables from the garden, it's bound to be good, nice and fresh, right? And she's just sort of serving it to everybody, and definitively serves herself last. Um, and once she's served herself, she sits down, and definitely starts to tuck in with more appetite than yesterday.
Denny would like to kind of sidle over next to Graja and just kind of lean in a little bit closer. And look, I noticed last night before I passed out, when we were all hanging out, that you seemed a little iffy about being here. Do you need to like talk about this? Are you all right? Like, are you feeling a little bit better this morning? I mean, you made us breakfast, so clearly you are in a little bit of a better mood, but like, I don't want to overstep or anything here, but just making sure you're all right.
And Garaja pauses for a second to like contemplate the answer here. Uh and she's kind of looking down into her breakfast, but then looks back up at Denny, and says to him, yeah, I'm okay. Bad dreams sometimes, and it's been kind of um just different than what I expected this job to be, and Velen and all. So
Who's Velen?
and Graja looks at Sangane. Velen came with us on the job, and well, the goblins got him because we got ambushed. And yeah, he died.
That's why we were at the caves. Sort of revenge, I guess.
Yeah, it was not maybe our finest moment, but I don't regret it.
We saved someone.
Those goblins definitely needed to be stopped, so I'm glad we went in.
We saved Sildar, so we lost one, we saved one. Is
True.
Sildar still passed out in the corner? I assume he had a big couple days.
He's gonna sleep for 3 days.
Viesa, yeah. Viesa looks over her shoulder at him and says, he probably is going to need to sleep this off for a few days. Even the abilities of our friend the cleric here are not a match for what he has been through. Sometimes it's not just the body that needs healing. So we can load him up onto the cart and you can take him into Phandalin if you'd like.
Yeah, we should probably do that, right?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. I say that's probably a good idea if you think, Viesa, that he's strong enough to make the journey. I think he's probably going to have better luck regaining his strength in a place that he finds a little bit more familiar, with more people around to help him. But if he's not strong enough, I don't want to risk it.
I think it should be fine. Like I said, it's probably more of a a mental exhaustion than a physical ailment at this point. And she gets up at this point and she goes over and kind of lifts some bandages and starts to grab new ones and changes the dressing as she does. You see her reach her hand out kind of over where the ugliest of the wounds was. And you see her reach for a chain that's under her tunic. And as she pulls it out, it's a very clear holy symbol that looks ancient. It has patina. It is, there is like, it's well cared for, but it is old. And you see her just kind of rub her thumb over it absentmindedly. And as she outstretches her other hand, you see a little bit of brightness come from under her hand, and you see Sildar kind of his body move a little bit, and then he takes a deep breath and just lays quietly again. So she says, yes, I think we've done as much as we can. It's a matter of him recuperating at this point.
And Graja steels herself in that moment to look at Viessa and say, we'll make sure he gets to Phandalin safely, I promise.
Excellent. When you get there, you've got a couple of choices of who you could take him to. The town mayor, Harbin Wester. I don't much care for him, to be honest with you. Bit of a weasel. In it for himself, which is never something that I appreciate about a leader. Very political. And the other person you might consider, I don't know if Sildar comes from money and can pay the tab on the other end of recuperating, but Trilena, she runs the inn there, the Stonehill Inn, Trilena Stonehill, naturally. She runs the inn there. Her husband is a skilled, well, he's skilled at something. I'm sure that's why she keeps him around. She runs the inn, and she's the one who you should see, Trilena.
I bet it's skilled in something very well.
I mean, he doesn't seem to do much else, but...
And Graja looks at Denny confused. She's like,
I'll tell you when you're older, don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay, so the inn and then the guy that's, maybe not so, you don't like him as much. Okay.
I mean, he's the mayor.
Right. Okay.
Since this guy was accompanying Gundren, who seems to have a lot of business in Phandalin.
And who are we supposed to deliver this stuff to? Or you supposed to deliver this stuff to?
So I think Gundren said that he'd meet us in Phandalin, didn't he?
No, there was a store. There was a store we were taking it to. Hang on, it's on a different page of my notes.
Yeah, I'm also checking my notes.
While Whimsy is frantically checking his cue cards, I'm just going to look at Viessa. When you say comes from money, worried about paying the bill, how much of a bill is there going to be for this? Is it normally a lot of money to heal people?
Well, I mean, he's healed at this point. He needs a room to stay in for a few days or a week while he figures out wherever he is and comes back to this place.
It'll be fine. If we feel the need to take him to the Stonehill Inn, I can work something out if Gundren hasn't already. I don't think we need to worry about that, so we could definitely put that on the maybe pile. I like the sound of that a little bit more than the mayor. I don't really trust politicians much. They're too smarmy, and that's coming from me, so.
If I remember correctly, we were taking this to Gundren's family, brother, someone.
It was a
from
store.
the Rock Seekers.
So Gundren is a rock seeker. There are rock seeker brothers that he spoke of. The store that you're taking this to is Barthen's Provisions. And but all of the stuff, none of the stuff is for the store. It is his stuff. Barthen's Provisions is like, you know, those Amazon lockers you can get at 7-Eleven, like where you can just get your stuff shipped there and then pick it up. That's the situation that's happening here.
Right, because his brothers are mining somewhere, right? And he was going to join them. Was that what was going on?
You guys know that they're mining because as you were looking through the stuff looking for medicine kits, you
Right.
found mining equipment.
Right.
And he
Also,
said
not to be racist, but dwarves, it's kind of what they do.
Look, just because 97% of dwarf songs are about gold
Sure.
doesn't mean they all like to dig for gold, okay? That's
Yeah.
rude.
Some of it's mithril.
and he
Yeah.
did mention the
Yeah,
mines
absolutely.
the first time we talked to them.
Right. Yes.
So I think we're all set. We're gonna take we're gonna go get to town, deliver this, collect our payment, I guess. I don't know if it's gonna be payment if Gundren's not there. And figure out what we're gonna do next. I don't know.
Yeah, I say we head out while it's still early in the morning. I don't want to accidentally get lost and then it gets dark and then more goblins attack us. So I think we should probably head out pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Viesa, it's been lovely. Thank you so much for hosting us. Is there anything that we can do for you since you've graciously put us up?
Out of character, take him with you.
Get rid of this guy.
She says, when you bring me back my map, if you could ask Sister Gara Ellie to send a few vials of holy water. I always find that that's useful to have, and I've run out recently.
Holy water? We can do holy water. That's not a problem.
Lovely. And as you guys are preparing and getting stuff, she goes and, you know, helps you guys get Sildar down it's kind of a rope ladder, so it's a little bit precarious, but basically you guys wind him up in some rope and lower him down. Just chuck him, like Sangane has healing spells, it's fine. And
I'm just picturing those girls that like suspend themselves on like ribbons and like tie themselves up and then, like, slide them down.
Aerial silks, yeah.
Aerial
that's
silks.
it.
Yeah,
I did that.
absolutely. That's all core. That's
So hard.
Yeah.
Why
So
don't do that?
An unconscious person would probably not make that. It would just, or they'd end up like hanging themselves. It would be
damn
not-
hilarious to watch, though. I gotta say.
Glad.
So you guys
He's
do
not a
manage
monk.
to get him down. No, he's not. That's for sure. You guys do manage to get him down and into the cart, kind of rearranging some things to give him a bit of a space and whatever it is that he's laying on. And at this point, Viesa turns to Sangane and says, and my friend, what are your plans? Should you choose, you're welcome to stay on with me. I've certainly got about a third of an acre more vegetable patch to dig if you're interested.
I thank you for your hospitality, but as you said, this is not a hostel. You gave me back a life, a semblance of it, and I will be eternally grateful for that. But you also said yesterday that my answers may not be here. My answers may very well be on the road in Phandalin or somewhere else even. But I feel, if nothing else, I would like to see this fellow safe and If nothing else, I can be the escort for your map. I mean, he looks up and I look up. If the rest of you will have me, anyways. I'm not bad with a crossbow. But matron, you have been nothing but gracious, and I will always remember it.
All right. Well, that's fine if you don't want to help me dig. You didn't. That's all you had to say was no. That's fine. She pulls out a little gray pebble from her pouch.
Why do you gotta be all mom on me now?
It's flat. It's about the size of your palm.
Ooh.
And she hands it to you, and she says, "As you say, you're the keeper of my map, which is precious to me, and I do want it back. So from time to time, I may check in with you. And if things get truly hairy, just hold this and think of me, and I'll see what I can do to help you."
Thank you. Completely.
You can
confused
put.
that I'm being given a rock.
You like Sangane might not know what it is, but Mike, you can put a sending stone into
Mike
your
knows what
inventory.
it is. The Sangane is completely clueless.
And
Rock. Thank you for the rock.
yes.
Thanks for the rock.
And Whimsy is looking at that rock like, wait, is rocks currency? Like what's
I tried
Whimsy
that.
has
no
thoughts.
one wanted my rocks.
And if my players in the audience will please just pardon the momentary set aside of our narrative. We have something very important that our channel owner has just requested that we do.
Oh, no.
So if I could get everybody in chat, in our Zoom here, if we could please sing happy birthday to Mike. Once the channel owner requests it, it's happening. So I will lead. Because they're brothers, if you didn't know, our channel owner Steve and Mike are brothers. So if we can help torment a sibling, I feel like that's definitely our level of chaotic energy here at Phandalin by Night. So if you will all join with me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mike. Happy birthday to you.
With a cat.
Yeah, wow.
Cat sang also.
Incredible.
Wow. Look, it had to be done. And thank you. Now that everybody can sweat their makeup right off.
The tears.
Wonderfully done. Happy birthday, Mike.
That was amazing.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm speechless.
And for not any particular reason, when is Steve's birthday?
I will let you know.
You don't know.
Oh, I do know.
Answer.
I'm just not giving him the satisfaction of being ready for it.
Excellent. Okay, so as we fall back into our narrative, you guys make way to leave, and as you do, it takes a few minutes to get out of the forested canopy of this place. And as you turn to look back, you've only been on the little path for minutes, but as you turn to look back, you can't see Viesa's compound. Whatever it is that keeps her compound separate hides it very quickly and very well. As you make your way out of the forest canopy, the sun is already hot this morning. I would like everybody to make a perception check.
That's a natural 20 for me.
Hey.
Danny got a great night of sleep. He is wide awake.
Yes.
That's 13 for me.
Perception.
Garage is distracted by the very symbolic dream that she had and got a 7.
15.
I will say Denny in particular. You notice, because you had a natural 20, you notice that as you guys are 10, 15, 20 minutes on the road, the sun is beating down and you guys all seem to be sweating. And as you're just uncomfortable. So, you managed to you were trying to figure out how to get more ice for your drink, a little bit of iced coffee for the road. And as you kind of look around, remembering who had made you the ice in the first place, and the absence of that presence, you do look over, and what you see is that Sangani is not sweating. In fact, it doesn't look like the heat is affecting him at all, in large part because, and this is crazy in your brain, this is crazy, but he's under a little bit of shade.
Like he's got one little cartoon cloud just
No,
Like
that
storm
would be
cloud.
obvious, right? He's not Eeyore, but he's in shade, although there is no shade. He is in shade.
What?
Okay.
That's some hardcore goth shit.
I know, right?
I need that power in my real life.
Yeah.
The Cure starts playing from
Whatever.
an unknown
Look.
source.
When you still close from Lord Castellanter, you two can have unending shade.
What?
Mm.
Shit.
This is when, audience, we start pulling from Pathfinder because D&D doesn't have the right mechanic, and
Okay.
Penumbra becomes the mechanic we use from Pathfinder.
Those
Well.
are words.
Those
Just
are
don't let
words.
just don't let them catch you with those clothes,
Mike, the player, is now really nervous. Sangani's wow, what are you? You guys should find some shade.
And Sangane is trekking along, and he's like, wow, what a beautiful day. It's blue skies and it's gorgeous out. And the rest
My
of you
new silk
gems
is amazing.
Yeah, and breathable, it's good linen in the South. It's a really good feeling. And the rest of you gems, you're you've got sweat on your brow. It's hot already.
Yeah,
And-
Denny's gonna
and-
take out a monogrammed handkerchief and just kind of mop his brow a little
Oh.
bit.
Denny, I forgot. And goes up. Shape water, ice. Anyone? I can do this.
Thank you so
Seems
much.
to be a thing. Yes.
Where did you learn to do that?
I-
Remember about Velen, the friend we told you? He also knew how to do that. And I'm not from a big city, so I don't know if everyone from the big city knows how to do that.
Well, I don't know about this Velen fellow, but I don't know. What Yasa told you about me, or what I mentioned, is true. I feel like I woke up 2 days ago. I have no memory of anything before that, and it seems to be something I could instinctually do. I don't know. Beyond that is clouds of forgotten memory.
And
So
Ro-
hopefully we find some answers to this on a journey. Hopefully maybe in the big city someone will know a little bit more about this ailment.
And Graja looks at Jart, kind of feeling in this kind of similar upbringing that she's kind of thinking that they may have had. And she's like, does that mean one day that I could wake up and use magic? Maybe?
Why not?
I mean,
Sure, make
I
me
still
an
said
Arcana check.
Me?
Definitely sounds like a Fey Pact. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Traded grace for power. Seen it 1,000 times.
I really got a
Arcana,
short
here
end
I
of a
go.
deal then.
God. Natural 1.
Nice.
Oh, it hurts.
As you,
I'm
Sure.
so naive and ignorant. I'm sorry.
I was
No.
actually kind of hoping that it would have been a natural 20, because I
Natural.
totally would have given you a magic power, but if it's a
Damn
natural
it.
one,
Oh, fuck. Damn it.
You
Oh,
you
Actually,
go
it
and go to cast the hand motion that you think that you've seen several of them do, and it
I dropped.
Yeah.
Oh no.
and you like try to say something because you know that sometimes, and then you pull out like a little bit of like seasoning salt and like sprinkle it salt bay through the air. And as you do, like Denny and Whimsy both see this happening. If there is anything you would like to do in this moment.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
you could have not made that
Denny's-
joke, but you did.
Denny's not really too sure what's going on, but he's just gonna
Absolutely.
fantastic. Brava, amazing job.
Oh,
And-
yeah, maybe I'll get it.
Yeah, in this moment, as you've kind of sprinkled this seasoning salt through the air, it's kind of picked up on the wind, and yeah, it blows right back into your face. There is salt in your eyes. It's not pleasant.
I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, right?
Look, and when you can figure out how to direct the salt towards your enemies, like maybe you should just practice a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Whimsy,
Yeah.
What you do is just keep some salt in your pocket, and when enemies are coming at you, just throw it directly into their face. Just scream pocket salt. And run
Yeah,
away.
pocket
Works
salt.
every
That's what I was
time.
just thinking. Pocket
Just dirty
salt.
fighting is what that is.
Sometimes it's the only way to win.
question. Can
Sure.
Whimsy like really subtly cast thaumaturgy and make the ground shake a little?
Absolutely.
Why do
You
I
saw
get trolled in
plenty of
every game I
time.
play? Everybody always trolls me.
You absolutely knew what was going on, and like Raja really had this moment of like, wait,
I was
when you go to sleep, sometimes people just wake up with magic. I totally get it. Like she has unlocked the secrets of the magic of the burst. And as you see her like salt bay and then like get it in her eyes, you make the ground tremble beneath her feet. Graja, maybe
Graja,
the
stop
magic
it.
is
Stop it,
in
Graja.
you the whole time. It wasn't the salt, it was always you.
And Graja looks around at the rest of them. Did you see that? The ground was shaking a little bit. Wow.
Why, that was freaking.
Yeah. Okay, alright, well, I'm gonna have to practice and then we'll see what happens. But I feel good.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And the morning carries on into kind of the afternoon as the antics are never ceasing with this group, and everybody is Les Mis walking towards the town. It doesn't even take you guys like until the evening. It's kind of late afternoon before you guys get there. The oxen had to like slow down a couple times. You had to get them some water and things, but really they were the slow part of this journey. And as the rutted track emerges from this wooded hillside, you catch your first glimpse of Phandalin. This town is about 40, maybe 50 simple log buildings, and some of them are built on like old fieldstone. I don't know how many of you have like history or architecture. Maybe Graja, you might recognize. At Jart, you maybe recognize these old buildings that have been kept in repair rather than like torn down and new stuff put up. Or stuff that was like magically enchanted from its creation. This is the work of just people. And there are ruins. There are crumbling stone walls covered in ivy and like thick briars. And some of those surround even like the newer houses and shops. This must have been a much larger town at some point ago, maybe centuries ago. But most of the newer buildings are set on like the sides of the main cart track, which then widens into a muddy main street. it's you can see that there's like a town well, and people aren't necessarily super careful. The water is pretty plentiful, so as people are carrying their buckets, water is sloshing out. It makes kind of like a muddy main street of sorts. As it climbs through the city, there is a ruined manor house on a hillside at the far east of the town. But as you approach, you see children playing in like the town green. There's like a little soccer field, and you see kids playing together. You see the townsfolk tending to different chores, running errands at the shops. This is that town that like Belle lives in at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast. This is like a French provincial town, except for it is mostly human. There are a few half elves. There are a couple of half orcs, actually. As you're kind of going around, you notice them carrying heavier metal pieces of some kind or another, and they seem to be moving together. There are several halflings. This is maybe one of the larger, while it's not a halfling settlement, this is one of the larger halfling groups in the Sword Coast, and there are quite a bit.
Are there
sorry, go ahead.
like words?
Say that again.
Are they are they words in the front, like a watch, anyone that looks like secure
Guards.
in the area? Yeah.
There aren't. Phandalin as a town looks like probably if something happened, it's kind of the townsfolk that come together. They do not look prosperous enough to kind of fund a town guard at this point.
Okay.
Also, sorry to cut you off. Also, what you notice is a distinct lack of kind of younger men, like 15 to 25. There's kind of almost every other demographic, but there is a distinct lack of them around.
Denny is very saddened by this news, but will soldier on nonetheless.
Mhm.
Does there appear to be any sort of obvious signage that would lead us to an inn, or some big beautiful house that would be where the mayor lives?
Interestingly, the two places that are in the nicest shape, there is a smaller round. At one point, it looked like it maybe could have been like a mill, like it's round like that, and it's 2 stories. And you see some people kind of beating on the door, but there's a small group of kind of 5 or 6 people beating on the door. And then there is a large, probably the biggest building in town. It is the largest building. It is 2, maybe 3 stories, and flagstone and wood, leaded glass panes. And it has a large sign out front that says Stone Hills Inn, and it's kind of swaying gently in the breeze.
Right, everyone, I see the inn here. Do we want to drop him off there, or do you want to find the mayor? I'm not
we
sure
can at
which
least
would be
check the
better.
prices. She did say it was going to be expensive, and I don't know about you guys, but no one takes my currency.
I don't mind paying, as long as it's not an insane amount of money. I can cover it. So maybe we should stop in there and see first.
Yeah.
And maybe Gundren will have worked something out, or maybe we can go and find his brothers first, and maybe they'll know what to do.
I feel that when we go to the warehouse, they're gonna take the oxen, and we're gonna probably have to carry him back, if anything.
True.
So why don't we drop him there? We go to Barton Provisions and figure it out.
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay. I have changed the map in Roll20, so if anybody's interested in seeing Phandalin, I know that the map itself doesn't show the town master's house as being round, but that is how I've always pictured it in my brain. So do what you need to do. And if you're looking at the Twitch map, it does show a bunch of the names because the GM map has other names. I have moved stuff around. It's just still the old map. So don't necessarily go based on what you see on Twitch. Go based on what you see on your player screens.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
We're gonna start driving, I guess, towards the inn.
Okay.
And on the way, like while we're going, Jar's is gonna try to look at someone that's nearby and approach them. Like, good afternoon. We're looking for Parthen's provisions.
You approach a half-orc woman. She is about 6.5 feet tall, broad muscles, some really beautifully aesthetic tattoos of fish, which is interesting. Usually orc tattoos are a little bit more tribalistic in style, but hers are much more artistically done. And she says, yeah, the old man's shop is up the road here. And she points you towards this place over here. Mario, no. We're not eating plastic. Go away. And she points you guys over towards at the far end. You see there is a store itself, and then a small home that's attached to the store.
Okay. Well, I catch them up, and I catch with the group and move towards the inn with them.
Okay. Yeah, and as you guys make your way towards the inn, you can see that there is a place around kind of the back where you could park. You could park the cart if you wanted to, and kind of unload Sildar if you would like, or I don't know if you guys wanted to go in first. I'm just going to mute myself while I kick my cat off my room.
Okay. I say that we go and talk to the innkeeper before we unload anything.
Yeah, agreed.
No sense in Graja carrying this guy twice. Also be bad for him probably, so.
I can stay with the cart and with him.
You guys, so who is going into the inn?
I can.
Okay.
If someone wants to come with, that's cool.
Graja's gonna stay by the cart.
Okay.
Whimsy will go with.
All right. So Denny and Whimsy head on in. Graja, you in particular, partially because of the dream that you had, watch this group of half orcs. They seem friendly. They seem well respected by the community. Nobody kind of gives them a second glance or stands to the other side of the road. And you can see that this woman that Jart had been talking to is surrounded by a couple of half orc guys. And they must be some kind of family unit, because she starts, digging into one of them, joking about how he can't even swing the hammer big enough to make a dagger, much less, he's not ready to be an apprentice. And she punches him in the arm, and he tries to take it like a champ, but you also see him like it hurt. She has some power there. And this family unit kind of moves along carrying whatever it is, some big metal pieces of whatever it is that they're carrying. is something you notice in particular. And Denny and Whimsy head on in to this Stonehill Inn. And as you open the door, it's a beautifully crafted door. There must be some kind of like commune of artisans based on some of the art detail that you guys are starting to notice. But as you make your way in, you see the lights are a little bit dimmer in here, but the place is packed. There's only about 40 or 50 houses, but there are lots of people here. Some of them seem to be kind of just eating a meal and moving on. You see several like communal tables filled with miners, mostly human, a couple of dwarves, like maybe a handful of dwarves. There is a significant mining presence in this inn at the very least.
Sorry, can we take just a really quick timeout? Someone's at my door and I have to go grab it.
Absolutely, we can. I will go to, while you go do that.
Okay.
Go ahead, go.
I'm just gonna mute you guys. I'll be back.
Absolutely.
You're not in makeup today.
Sangane, you enter this town. Give me a perception check to see if you notice anybody or recognize anything. You are on high alert to try to see if any of this rings a bell for you.
Perception. A massive fail. A 9.
As you guys are kind of parked the cart behind the Stonehill Inn, you don't notice anything that looks familiar, but you do notice that there is a small shrine just across the road. It has a statue in it, and you see a woman in white, kind of like an off-white cream-colored garb, as she's kind of talking to people, and you see she takes a little bit of money and opens a door, and like one person goes in at a time. They're in for a couple minutes, they come back out, she takes some money, the next person goes in, and it's just across from you. It is here.
I'm gonna wander over there. Looking at, is there anything I recognize religiously?
Make a religion check.
Symbolism. This is gonna go well. 8.
I mean, you're kind of new at everything, but also none of this is Tiamat. So you do kind of overhear her as she says, and Tamora's blessing to you. And you just go right in, take the time that you need, and you know how things go. There's towels right on the inside, and we'll just be waiting right out here. And don't worry, I'll keep an eye on the little one. And you see this kind of halfling mom, plumper, a few lines, laugh lines. Her hair has a few strands of gray, and she leaves a toddler with the woman, and heads into the room. She's not in there for very long at all compared to the rest of them, but the woman plays and sings a song and runs like a little mini preschool program. Like she's singing like the ABCs, and she's teaching her some words in she teaches her like the same words. So it's like hello in like halfling and dwarf and elvish and common, and goodbye and thank you and please. Like she has like a whole little show that she does with the kids, and pretty soon the mom comes back out and she says, oh, thanks, I really needed that, and gives the woman a hug, and then takes her kid and kind of heads off towards wherever their home must be.
Approach, like, is there anyone else at the shrine?
There's a line. There's
Really?
always kind of a line of like 5 or 6 people, but it never really gets too long. And just when somebody comes out, somebody else will come and stand in line. And she takes, it seems like differing amounts of money for each person. And they go in, they're in for some of them 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then they come back out.
I'll stand and watch silently for a while I'm waiting for the other two to come out of the inn.
Sure, give me a perception check.
Well, that's better. 19.
People come out as the door opens, steam kind of escapes from the door. People come out looking a little bit cleaner, and there is a much nicer smell whenever the door opens.
Wow.
Weird. All right. I'll sort of keep a half eye on it, see if the line actually goes down enough that I want to spend a minute or two actually in the line expectantly, as opposed to just
Sure.
sort of hovering. See what. Hopefully, Miguel and Tulio won't take that long.
Yeah, I mean it stays busy. There's always kind of 5 or 6 people in it, and seems like sometimes a group will come in or a family will come in, but really it's except for if it's a little kid, it's usually only just one person at a time that goes in.
Yeah. And they go in and basically get a steam bath, come out, and they're all weird. Religion is weird.
I feel like that's our ad
trying
for
to
next.
process this is like, almost like a
Writing that down.
half-hearted question in his head. Is like, you don't do anything like this, do you?
Are you waiting for a response?
No, not really. He's half-heartedly expecting a response, but not really.
I'm using that as our ad for next week. Religion is weird.
Facts.
Love it. Okay. So Denny and Whimsy, you guys head into the Stonehill Inn, and there's miners. It's busy. You see a human woman who, although she looks like she's busy, she does look well kept. She looks like she cares about her appearance. She's wearing a little bit of eyeshadow, some mascara. She's got her hair done back, like professional, food safe, but done. And as she sees you enter, she goes, yes, are you miners too?
No.
No,
Oh.
absolutely not. I absolutely will not be getting this outfit that dirty. We're actually here for a different reason. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Barthen's Provisions down the street. I imagine you would be.
Yes, absolutely. Elmar is a good friend of our family.
Well, we're doing a job for Gundren Rockseeker, and we've had a little bit of an issue, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Sildar, or if that name rings a bell at all.
She shakes her head. Sildar, no, but Gundren, and the fact that you've had a bit of an issue doesn't seem completely out of the norm. And you see a few of the miners laugh uproariously.
Well, Gundren's missing. We can't find him anywhere. But more importantly, one of his compatriots, Sildar, was in a bad way. We had to go in and save him from some goblins that, it's a long story. Anyway, we've got a bit of an injured man, and we're hoping that you might be able to have a bit of an extra room for him to recuperate in for a little while. I'm happy to pay his way, of course, if nothing's been arranged ahead of time, and you'll be handsomely compensated for your time and trouble.
Hopefully by Gundren, not us, but
one of the miners says, "Wait, let me guess. Gundren disappeared, but he probably owes you money, right?"
Yes, actually. That does not fill me with a lot of confidence.
They laugh uproariously again, and she goes, "Oh, don't mind them. He's always looking for the next hustle, and he'll turn up eventually. I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's fine. You know, he is always looking for the next get rich quick scheme. And the rest of us here in Phandalin, we work hard for what we have. And, you know, he's just always been a little bit of an outsider. But I'm sure he'll return. I do have a room, no problem. You know, this person, does it require like a healer or?
Just needs somewhere to lay low for a little while. His body's totally fine. He just needs to recuperate mentally. He's been through a bit of an ordeal. So if you could just make sure that he eats at least twice a day and change his bedding every once in a while, he'll be all right.
Yeah, we can definitely manage that. No problem. And she pulls a little key out and hands it to you. Third room on the right. Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Denny's going to turn to Whimsy and tell him to please go and tell everyone else to bring him inside. Abigail, you're very in the way, young lady.
Whimsy ducks outside and gives Graja the nod to unload him.
And Graja is maybe momentarily distracted by this half-orc family that she's been observing, but she quickly kind of snaps out of it. Now, does Sildar need to like be fully like carried still, or okay?
Yeah, he's still pretty unconscious.
That's totally
so
fine.
I assume like the fireman carry.
Yep. Actually, yeah, I actually was thinking the more like not like this, but more like kind of that.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I kind of have him there with his back of his knees under my arm.
Yeah, you cradle him gently and make your way through the door. Whimsy, you open the door, and Graja, nobody gives you a second glance that you're a half orc carrying a human dude, an older human dude up these stairs. I don't know that it's normal for this town. We've just lost. Who did we lose? Denny?
Denny.
Yep, we lost Denny there. It's all right. I'm sure she'll pop back in here.
Okay.
I'll fix it whenever.
You, as you're carrying him up the stairs, you get to the room, and Denny has unlocked the door. It is sparse. It's a bed. There's a table. There's a chair. A window. There's not a lot there, but you lay him down, and yeah, that's okay. Denny, come back when you can. Is anybody else going to do anything? Jart, did you stay outside with the cart?
Yeah.
Okay. And sure. Whimsy, Graja, are you guys going to stay with Sildar? Are you heading back to the cart? What's your plan?
When Graja, after depositing Sildar in the most comfortable position for him, hopefully, she might just sit or just stand there for maybe like 5 minutes or so, just to like observe him to make sure he's not like having any kind of issue after the ride on the cart. Maybe just a brief observation before she'll go back down the stairs, just to watch him.
Okay, Whimsy?
Whimsy goes back into the bar area, giving it a quick glance around before remembering that no one likes his acorns and shiny rocks. So he heads back out to the cart and I guess starts getting ready to take things to the Barthen's provisions.
Okay. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to throw to the be right back screen. Do you have that, Sarah?
I don't actually, but I can just go to the start screen, so it's fine. It's a
excellent.
Similar.
Okay, and I will make sure that you get the be right back screen.
Okay.
And we'll come back when we get Denny back.
Okay, sounds good. Be right back, all.
Be right back.
Okay, welcome back. So let's see, we had Graja sitting in the room with Sildar just for a moment, making sure that he is actually settled and that he's doing okay. Whimsy has gone downstairs to kind of see what could be bartered and traded for rocks and feathers, probably nothing. So he heads out to the cart with Jart and Sangane who are out there. Denny, what are you doing? You were up in the room with
To
Sildar
speak
and
with
Graja.
the Innkeeper. Oh, sorry, what was that?
You were in the room with Sildar and Graja when you dropped.
Oh, okay. So have we discussed terms of payment yet with the Innkeeper? Because I would like to talk to her and see what she's expecting.
Sure. You head downstairs. As you do, as you go to open the door, you see a larger man, kind of a dark olive skin, with a thick curly black hair, wearing just the most like fabulous purple muumuu, and he is carrying about 5 different potted plants. And he swoops right past you into the room, and he says, yes, I heard somebody needed to recuperate. Excellent, no worries, I will take care of him from here. And he starts putting the potted plants down. He pulls from the pockets of his muumuu naturally, like a beautiful piece of like looks like a scarf, and hangs it over the window and like goes about decorating this room. And he goes and checks Sildar's forehead and says, yes, some soup. I'll go to the kitchens and fetch him something. Is there anything else? I assume you'll be gone for a few days. He's in capable hands, I assure you.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah, just as well, make him comfortable, make sure that he stays nice and warm. If he needs anything, feel free to charge it to my account. I don't mind settling up when we get back, or I can give you a small deposit now, whatever works best for you.
You'll have to discuss that with my wife. Trilina is the one who manages things. I just make them better. So you can go down and discuss that with her. And I will go get some soup.
Fabulous.
And he heads
What kind of
back
soup
out.
you guys have today?
I have a pumpkin squash from the Eldermouth Farms. It's going to be delicious, a little bit spicy. I'm hoping that, you know, that pepper really brings a punch. We've got some dwarves. Nothing's ever spicy enough for them. And we have an elven wedding. It's beans and some a broth, a really, really good mixture. I have an egg flour soup, which is a personal favorite. I make it in small batches because it's better that way. And then, you know, sort of the meats and cheeses and pedestrian things that a lot of people around here like.
Sounds fantastic. We'll definitely stop in for lunch before we head out.
Excellent. Just let me know if you need anything. Tobin Stonehill, that's my name.
Thank you very much, Tobin, indeed. And
he heads down a back set of staircases towards the kitchens. And as you go downstairs, Trilina, you find her, she's kind of serving, and at the moment she's just, you know, wiping the bar and doing some counting. And you can see that somebody's just come in and put some new like crates of produce, and she's just finished paying them out, and she's about to get ready to take the produce into the kitchen.
All right, I'm gonna go over and help her move some crates into the kitchen so we can discuss payment for Sildar before we get on our way.
I'll also help with, Graja will help with the moving as well.
For every one crate I lift, Raja's just like a 4 under each arm.
Yeah. As you guys go to help, she kind of stops in the doorway of the kitchen, and she grabs it. She'll take it from your hands, swing it around through the door, keeping her body in the door so that you can't go into the kitchen. put it on the counter. Somebody must be taking it because she keeps putting it onto the same counter, and then steps forward with the door closing behind her so that you can't go into the kitchen. And she says, thank you. I do appreciate that. So how long do you think your friend will be here? Are you going to need rooms? What's the deal?
I'm gonna turn to Garaja and be like, a week? Should we do a week? Are we gonna sleep here? We're heading out right away, right? So we don't need rooms? Just him?
Yeah, I don't think we need rooms yet. I mean, we can always, if we need to, we can kind of come back and do it then. But I don't think we're gonna need them yet because we got stuff to do.
All right. Well, let's say just him for a week, plus some lunch for me and my compatriots. So five lunches before we head out. And if we need a room, we can always talk about that later. But just for now, just him.
Great. Well, you know what? Settle up on the other side. Are you guys wanting lunch right now, or do you have errands to run and you're going to come back? What's the plan?
I think we'll come back around. We should go and talk to Gundren's brothers and see what's happening with them. Let them know we have no idea where he is. So if it's true that he kind of does this sort of thing a lot, I'm sure that they'll have some idea of where he might be, that maybe we can go from there. I'm not 100% sure.
Absolutely. They're just in the house with the green roof across town. And she just kind of, points that way. It's a fairly small town. You'll probably be able to find it. And yeah, you guys go back to the cart. In this whole time, Sangane, you haven't seen the line ever really get shorter than kind of 4 or 5 people. There is just a continuous line of people. Like, people are busy in this town. People have to be industrious. People don't have like a lot of leisure time, but everybody also needs to do whatever is happening in this building. So just kind of when the line gets small, a couple more people will come and join.
Weird. Make a mental note to come back there later. Let's see, maybe depending on the time of day, maybe it sort of shortens up in the evenings or something, or first thing in the morning. But generally, since everyone else has actually gone inside, I think. No, Jart's still outside.
Whimsy's back outside.
Okay. So what are we doing?
Are we all reunited at this point?
At this point, as Sangane makes his way back from across the street, you guys all do manage to find yourselves outside at the cart.
Okay, cool.
Right, so I've already paid for lunch for everyone. So we can go around, go talk to Gundren's brothers, go and talk to whoever else we need to talk to, get some lunch, hit the road. That's my plan. I'm willing to hear others. If someone else has something they need to do.
Where would we be hitting the road to?
To find Gundren, because he owes us a bunch of.
True. That makes
There's
sense.
a deal. We had a deal. There's a deal that needs to be completed.
Yeah.
We did our end.
That
The
makes
stuff
sense.
is where we said we'd take it to. Now,
I
Do we?
needs to keep up his
I
end.
think it depends because we may get paid from his brothers. So I think we have to deliver the card. And depending on what happens there, I would love to help Gundren because
Do we know even where he is?
I think
Went
he's at
off
the
with the
castle.
senseless
North from Viesos, there is a castle that it's supposed to be like a bigger goblin camp.
Oh.
I'm worried that he's ended up there and that the goblins have taken him. I'm not sure why they would do that, but I'm worried. Hopefully his brothers might shed some light on this situation, though. Maybe he's just off in Fantasy Reno spending all of his money on craps. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah, I think talking to his brothers is probably a good idea because, I mean, they would know where he typically goes, and I don't know. I think that's our best chance.
So then, getting rid of the provisions would be the first thing, I imagine. And then
Yeah.
Quick question. Did my wolves come with us? I kind of
Oh,
assumed
yeah, I
they did,
forgot
but
about the
I
wolves.
feel like they might be startling the locals if they're in town.
I had not pictured that they did, but you tell me, what would you have directed them to like go hang out before you came into town?
I assume so. Like, we just hadn't said anything about them since we left BS's.
yeah, I don't see
assume they came
Whimsy
with us,
giving up
but I
friends.
also assume I said, like, try and hunt for yourselves, and I'll meet you out here at sundown with higher class food.
Some good boy
Ye-
snackies.
Well, for the
Um,
posh one that doesn't like casual meat, he needs like grain friend Kobe beef.
It's true. Hand fed by virgins. Yeah, absolutely. They head off towards the kind of southeast, kind of skirting around. There's a little bit of a forested area. I was going to say under the word Phandalin, but you guys can't see that until right now. They're kind of over in this area. You know, absolutely. Yeah. And they're going to meet you at kind of dusk at the entrance to the town.
Alright, and I will have snackies for them.
Okay.
Because I did get some money from the thing, from
Yep.
the room. Alright, so I'm going to use that to buy a big haunch of fancy meat for
Okay.
them. All of my money will go towards buying meat that Whimsy doesn't even eat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's legit. That tracks. So you guys are going to the Rock Seekers first or to Barthen's Provisions first?
I feel we can go to the Rock Seekers first.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because if we don't get paid,
Then we're keeping the stuff and selling it.
Sell it all back to
And
them.
going rogue.
yeah, like I don't consider it as stealing, but like they do owe us money, and we lost one of our friends for this card, so I have grown a bit attached to it.
Mhm, mhm.
It's been handy. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Plus, they might want to like count the stuff and make sure it's all there or whatever.
let's go to the Rock Seekers first.
Okay. You guys make your way. Wow, this mouse, that really sucked. Do this in black. And I'll just throw some text down. So the Rock Seekers, make it much bigger. Hey, that was not as big as I expected it to be. But it's this one right here. And you guys make your way across and over. Are you guys are bringing the cart with you?
Yep.
Okay. As you guys pull up, the door is slightly ajar.
Huh.
It's never a good sign.
I don't know why Sarah just made that face. I'm sure it's fine.
Denny's just gonna go ahead and really quickly put his finger to his nose, signaling that he's not it.
Graja will ignore the nose situation and she'll go in first.
Okay.
And sort of just slowly push the door the rest of the way ajar and just.
I'll be
in
right there too.
first.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Okay. Here we go. Dude, come on, dice. 11. So bad.
The door is splintered where the handle is. It has been forced open. And as you go in, the place has been ransacked. Papers on the floor, beds have been like stabbed. Not just like somebody was looking for something. That's not necessarily what you're seeing here. What you're seeing here is that somebody has ruined this place, like torn it apart maliciously, like all of the pillows are ripped open. There's feathers everywhere. The mantle above the fireplace has been knocked down. Any plates have been broken. This place has been rocked.
And Graj's eyes are just wide looking over this scene. And she's silent for a minute and she's like, oh no. No, something could have happened to his brothers. What's going on? And can Graja start like looking for some sort of like clue as to why it's been ransacked, or some kind of, I don't know if that would have probably been covered under the last perception check, but
that's an investigation. So perception is just like looking around quickly. Investigation is looking for clues for something.
I would like to do that.
Call the rest of us in. Does Grasha call the others in?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, Graj will be like, hey, everybody come in here. Like, the place is all messed up.
Guys, if we go in, don't you think they may pin that on us?
Well, I didn't even think about that.
Also a good point.
I'm worried about what's happened to them.
We haven't been here long enough for them to pin it on us.
Yeah.
People in small towns, it's very particular about people from out of town.
Does someone want to go and inform the mayor, maybe?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. I can, like, you can start checking everything. I'll take the card and try to find the major and leave it at the inn or something.
Right.
So we don't have to check it.
Came past the mayor's place. Isn't that the town master's hall?
Yeah.
So it's just up the street.
Yeah, we're like, what Jared's gonna do is go back to the inn, leave the card on the inn, so hopefully no one steals anything from the card, and it's gonna run to the major's office.
Well, Jot, why don't you leave the cart at the inn? Just tell them to add it to my bill, and then go talk to the mayor or the town master. I feel like the cart might be better off at an inn with someone watching it than it would be at the road.
What she said.
Yep, that's my plan, and I'll do that.
Had you guys all gone inside while you were having this conversation, or were you guys having this conversation outside?
I think in the doorway.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Garage is like fully in.
Yeah, me, Sangane as well, inside.
Chart, inside or outside?
I'm outside with a card.
Okay, as you go back to the cart, make a perception check.
Oh god. Huh. Which die? Oh no, it's an odd one.
Oh no.
Cool. So you get the cart and you take it back to the inn. You kind of duck your head in and let Trilena know that you're going to leave the cart there. And Denny says it's fine, just add it to the bill. And she goes, yeah, okay, sure, no problem. And she yells back through the kitchen pass, Tobin, there's a cart. Can you just make sure that, you know, it comes into the yard? And you hear, yes. And you can head over to the town master's home.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I don't know what we missed, and I'm gonna be anxious for the next 3 games. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the major's office, town hall.
Mm-hmm.
And is it the door open? It's like an office, or is it closed? Like,
so as you get there, you notice that there is like 4 or 5 people pounding on the door. Come out here, you weasel. We demand to speak with you. You're our mayor for what? You take our money in taxes and do nothing to help the young men of this town. This is ridiculous.
so seeing this and seeing like that person is not gonna be helpful at all, what she's gonna do is be like, um, guys, I don't know if anyone knows the Rock Seekers, but someone trashed their house and they don't seem to be there. Anyone knows anything?
Make a persuasion check for me.
Oh god, I'm really good at those.
Excellent.
I'm like really good at those.
If you keep saying it, you manifest it.
It's a nat 2
Excellent.
or a 2.
That's better
That
than
is
one.
100% better than your previous roll. And I feel like with 100% improvement, you have to get something from that. Like,
Okay.
just as a teacher, growth is what we're looking for here. So what happens is this woman kind of turns around and looks at you and she goes, now the Rock Seekers too. Do you hear that, Harbin, you absolute villain? Now it's even affecting the dwarves of the town. God, I hate him. Those red brands are going to take all of the men of this town if we don't do something.
Red brands? Like, is this something that happens often?
I mean, it's happened recently. All of our sons have gone off and joined with these zealots. I don't even know who they are. They spend all their day drinking at the other tavern that's like a pit. It is a hole. It hasn't been a working place in 200 years, and they thought that it was edgy at first, and now we can't get any of them to come home. And they're just out there doing God knows what and not coming home and not showering. And this is not the way we have raised our children. And that troublemaker came into town and she is just full on ranting. That troublemaker came into town and he started to supplant these dangerous ideas. And our young men were bored because I guess we weren't making them work hard enough. That's definitely not going to be a problem. And she like smacks, there's a younger boy about 11. She smacks him on the back of the head. You need to be doing your chores right now so that you don't end up like your big brother. And oh yeah, she is going off.
Okay, but like having, I'm like she's probably gathering attention from people around, so I'm just gonna speak loud enough so someone, if you know, like that gossip in town, in case anyone wants to say anything, uh, and be like, but had been like homes trashed before, and have people disappeared? Anything beyond that? Like we're just like drinking.
You hear one of the women, she's much older, like great grandma aged human, and she goes, they've done away with my son, murdered him in cold blood, and his wife and my grandkids are missing, and this lout will do nothing. Do you hear that? And she bangs on the door with her cane. He does nothing while our town is crumbling to pieces. This is ridiculous.
And it all started happening when he arrived to the town. I don't know who he is, but like the guy that's messing up with the kids, kind of.
Yeah, the leader of the Red Brands, absolutely. He is to blame. Well, not for all of it, because this one's to blame. She smacks the door with her cane again. This one's to blame for a lot of it. But the Red Brand, because he's not doing anything, he's probably taking kickbacks from them. This is ridiculous. And this whole crowd of women are raising their voices, getting more violent. One of them, she looks to be sturdy, maybe half dwarf, and she goes in full on like body checks the door, and it bends under her might, but she can't get it open. Harbin Wester, who is potentially on the other side of this door, has like bars going across it.
Okay. I am gonna try something, and I'm gonna just like kind of push to the front, and just like set up in a position, and I'm gonna like set a full punch to the door.
Chuck
with
Norris the door open.
Fist of Unbroken Air.
What does that do?
It makes 3d10 bludgeoning damage.
Oh shit.
Door didn't stand a chance. How many hit points does a door have?
10.
I don't know.
I think it's about 10, yeah.
Nice. Do it.
I have a problem saying no to helping people. That's my thing.
That's not a problem. That's how stuff gets done in D&D.
That sounds like a problem for other people.
Yeah. So yeah, she's gonna push everyone aside and be like, "Let me try
Sure.
to help you," and just like ground her feet,
She
strengthen
airbenders the
the
door open.
door, and basically airbenders the door.
Sure. So roll your attack there. I mean, it's a door. It's not high AC.
Natural 20.
It's not a good hit. It's an 8.
8. You know what? The door takes half damage.
Okay.
There's too many people in the way.
Just as you do it, like this grandma's
Sorry,
cane
sorry.
starts to smack the door, and you're like, grandma, no, like go politely stand over there, and you're trying not to hit her, but you're trying to do this move that you remember being taught.
It's a 21.
Hey, 21 is half.
No, 10 half.
Oh, I was like,
Is enough
holy
anyway.
God.
Enough. It's
Um,
just enough.
Nice.
And
That's
and
a
as you're
word.
like, Abuela, it's fine, go stand to the side, and you like push forward, this door goes splintering open. And these women are like, yeah, like blood rush, and they go charging in like Black Friday sale into this room. And that's where we're gonna stop for you, with you leading the charge of angry moms into
Beautiful.
Harbin's house. Denny, Whimsy,
I want to speak
Graja,
to
Sangane, you guys are inside the Rockseeker's house.
Whimsy was still in the doorway last
Okay.
we saw.
So this thing with Jart takes a few minutes to really get kicked off. Graja, what was your investigation roll?
It was 6.
Ooh.
Oh, I can't get
No,
these rolls are hurting
That
me
fitful night of
today.
sleep is really doing you some damage.
Right?
There is like papers, and there are lots of jobs that use papers, and there's quill and ink, and there's lots of jobs that use that. And you're like, instead of looking at all the clues and then trying to find the commonalities, you're picking up one clue at a time and going, okay, this is all the things this could be. And then you're picking up a second clue and going, okay, this is all the things this could be. And you're learning how to investigate. That's okay. You're a baby private eye. It's gonna work out.
Yeah.
Sangane, Denny, Whimsy, what are you guys up to?
I think I would like to do an investigation check as well.
I think
Okay.
ditto. Yeah, we'll all sort of start pouring over this place.
Which is going to be a 17.
Okay.
Or I'm totally in agreement with everything that Graj is doing. It's like, no, yeah, that.
Graja's
piece of
like
paper?
handing you the thing. And she's like, here, paper. This could be this job or this job or this job. And you're like, yeah. And you've ended up with like an armful of different things.
12.
12. Whimsy, as you step in behind Denny to kind of start taking a look, Denny, you notice that there is a lot of paper, there's inks and quills. Specifically, these papers seem to be larger than just kind of journal papers. These are map-sized papers. And it looks to you like the rock seekers were maybe cartographers of some kind. Or there's schematics, there's like a couple different things, but these are some kind of technical drawing, and there are maps scattered in here as well. Whimsy, as you come in and you're looking around too, and you're trying to help like Sangane put stuff down that he's been handed, the door closes.
What the shit?
Whimsy turns to check out the door behind him. see
Yeah,
if
you
there's
pull on
anything
it.
standing. Yeah, give it the old shake.
No, it's shut.
Oh shit.
Graja's hand goes to her great axe on her back, and it's just like, Whimsy, what is it? What is going on?
The door's locked.
What?
Over.
There's
Did you
nobody
try
here.
wiggling the handle?
I tried wiggling the handle.
Oh, well, I'm out of ideas then.
And as you try again to wiggle the handle, it feels warm, and you notice smoke starting to billow from under the door.
Whimsy goes to the window and sort of peeks
Yeah.
out the window.
Give me a perception check.
That's not me.
It's okay. I've got a plan. I have a cunning plan. We'll see if rolls agree with me.
12% of a plan.
Better than 11.
Awesome.
Stay. Damn it. Damn it. Right. It was very nearly a 20. But no, I have less than 11%. I have 6% of a plan.
You catch a slight flash of red, like some kind of red clothing, not like red blood or anything, red clothing, kind of as it runs around just outside of the view of the window. And there is now smoke coming from the roof, from the thatching of the roof. There is, you see a torch that has been, as you turn around, Sangane, and look over your shoulder, a torch drops, or something on fire drops into the fireplace, and whatever it was breaks, shatters, and fire spills out onto the floor.
Molotov cocktail. The important thing is Whimsy can see outside right now, right?
Correct.
Awesome. Whimsy's gonna be like, oh no, it's so smoky, and then he's gonna misty step outside.
Awesome. That's where we're going to pick up next week.
Oh, what is happening? Oh no, everything is going
With
so wrong.
Whimsy leaving you guys.
Just goodbye.
What the hell?
Wow.
Peace.
Wow.
He's gonna unlock the door.
And Jart being like, Jart opened the door, lifts ahead, see a column of smoke, and it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
What have they done?
Oh,
As Jart is being like crowd surfed into the mayor's house on this tide of angry women.
Tide of care.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's where we'll pick up. So thank you, Darth Generico. I really do try with my cliffhangers
that's my
to
husband.
keep my aw.
Yeah.
So we'll go around, and I'll let everybody plug anything that they need to plug, and say anything they need to say. We'll go backwards. So Najra first.
Hi everyone, Najra, thank you for being here. I'm a professional cosplayer and cosmaker, so if you're planning anything for a con, shoot me a message.
Awesome. And Amanda.
Amanda, I play Whimsy, and I don't really have much going on, but if you want to follow me, I occasionally post stuff of moderate interest.
You're an amazing
Balder
cosplayer
dashing.
too.
Yeah. Balderdashing on almost every social media. Cornered the market on that name.
Sarah.
Hey, I'm Sarah. I played Graja, who I now know needs a full night of sleep in order to do anything at all. So, gotta know that going forward. You can find me at MC Diebeats on Twitter. I'm a creative partner at Martlet Games. You can find me here on Vancouver by Night for the Saturday Vampire the Masquerade Takeover in the Delves into Darkness show. That's an entire day of freaking Vampire the Masquerade. It's really fun. So come check that out. That pretty much starts around the time zones. I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern is when it starts. 3 p.m. Eastern, my bad. And then it pretty much just goes for like 6 hours after that. So please join us for that. Obviously here on D&D. And then Martlet Games has a bunch of stuff in production that's going to come out in the fall. And I'm a part of several things there. So keep an eye on the Martlet Games Twitter and my Twitter as well. And thanks everybody for being here again. Just having a blast with D&D. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Birthday boy.
Hi. Mike. played Sangane, he, him. also
Happy
he, him.
25th.
Yes, 25. I stopped at 33. I liked where I was at 33. Um,
Grace at good age.
you can catch my pre and post COVID cosplay adventures at Canadian Captain America on Instagram, CDN Cap America on Twitter. As Sarah mentioned, I'm also part of the Saturday Vampire Takeover. It starts at noon officially with all of the things that lead up to our particular game. Starts at 3 now. I think we've switched the time to, and then we move on to another game and we do the follow or the rating, and it just adds up and adds up. You can catch me here Sundays with this group of fantastic people, Phandalin by night, and finding out what happens next. Now that we're gelling as a team and jumping out windows and running off to raid mayor houses with a pack of Karens and things and awesome stuff. You can catch me as well on Tuesday nights. I am the dungeon master for a group of would-be heroes, including our very own DM here, who is the cleric of that campaign. That's not going terribly.
I'm not
in the
dead.
middle
It's
of a
fine.
dungeon. They're about to meet the big bad of the dungeon, and it's terrible. Yeah.
It's awful.
And other than that, you can also see any happenings that I might actually be up to, surreptitious to things, in the Patreon for this particular channel, Vancouver by Night. And you can also catch some, hopefully in the future, not so far in the future, some other things that I'm going to be doing with possibly the Changeling game. More on that later.
Fantastic. And Wedding Nikki.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This has been Nikki. I'm playing Denny. I promise next week I will be purple. I know I've been missing out on getting dressed up and wearing horns the last little while. It's weird how much you miss it when it doesn't happen. But in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram at I'm Poppy Fields. That's really the only social media site I use apart from Reddit. Don't follow me there. It's terrible. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And leaving that comment aside, I have been your Dungeon Master, Sarah. She, her. You can catch me, as Mike said, Tuesday nights as the cleric. Although I have a backup character, because you guys, I was thinking first off halflings because of luck, and then later bountiful luck. And there is a wild magic barbarian that just sings to all
What?
of me.
That sounds cool.
I just, wow. Yes. So perhaps maybe if the cleric thing doesn't work out. And what else? Thank you for watching us here on At Vancouver by Night. Subscribe. It's Subtober. So no, September.
September.
And you can also check out our Patreon and Coffee. All of that money gets kicked back to the talent and wonderful creators and co-creators here to be able to do amazing things for you. And Steve's going to tell me something else that I'm supposed to do. We are going to raid into
Somebody.
Dimples and Dice. Is that normally who we raid into on a Sunday?
No, we're actually gonna raid into Miss Magitech this time.
Hey, we're gonna raid into Miss Magitech. That's super awesome. And thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week to find out what's going on with the fire and the Black Friday riot and everything else. We will catch you next week.
All right,
Bye for
goodbye,
now.
everybody.
Bye.
See you later.